You are now on activity 3, gas in a syringe. Before we move on to this activity, let's review what you might have observed in activity 2. When the plunger was pushed down, the air was forced into the syringe, into a smaller space, and we say that the air was compressed. It means it was pushed together. And when air is compressed, it has more pressure. This is why the bubble wrap got smaller. It compressed. When the plunger was released, the plunger moved upward. That's because the volume, or the amount of space that the air could fill up, was increased. So the gas expanded. And when gas expands, it has less pressure. There's less push on it. This is the reason why the bubble wrap got bigger or expanded. When there was a clamp on the tube and the plunger was pushed down, the air was pushed into a smaller space. There's still the same amount of air, it just got pushed smaller. As the plunger was pushed down, the air inside pushed back on the plunger, so it got harder and harder to push that plunger down. When the plungers let go, the air inside the syringe pushed back up. Okay, now we're going to take a look at another model. Okay, some important things to know are that everything, all matter on Earth is made of particles. Tiny little particles that you can't see called atoms and molecules, even air. And air is a gas. There's a lot of space between particles in gases. The circles in this model represent gas particles, which are atoms and molecules. And a good thing to know is that volume is the amount of space that something takes up. Your task in this model is to simulate air under pressure in a syringe. Let's take a look at how that works. This is what the simulation that you are going to be using looks like. This simulation is found in the multimedia area in your FOSS account. So the first thing you have to do to get there is to log into FOSS. And then once you are logged into FOSS, you can open another tab to log into FOSS. Then you can either click on this link here, gas in a syringe. If you click on this now and you're not logged into FOSS, it's not going to work. Your FOSS account has to be open. If you would rather, there's another way to get to the simulation. You can log into FOSS, click on Weather and Water Book, and then the first column is Multimedia. Remember, that's where the Hurricane and Tornadoes video was. We'll move down Multimedia and click on Gas in a Syringe. Either way, this works. Once you are in your simulation, you should open the blue text box, Submit Assignment, at the top of this page, and then you can copy and paste questions A to E into the text box. The A to E are down here. So you remember how to do this. Highlight and then Control C to copy, Control V, and you'll have a text box open down at the bottom, and then you can answer all of your questions there. So now I have logged into FOSS. I'll come back here and click on this link, and it will take me to this simulation. Here they're showing you, there's the little atoms and molecules of air inside the syringe, and your job is to drag the plunger up and down to see what happens to the number of gas molecules. Did the number of these little circles change? The volume of gas, how much space it's taking up? What happens when we push the plunger up and down? What happens to the volume? And then the motion of the gas particles, the gas molecules. Do they move fast? Do they squish together? What do they do? Okay, you can freeze it right here, or you can play it. There are two buttons here. You can show the pressure gauges. This shows the pressure outside the syringe, and this shows the pressure inside the syringe. You can also see what happens to the motion of the particles outside. Okay, so you can shut those off. You can turn them on, and you're going to play around with this model. As you're using the model, make sure you go back to your text box and answer the questions. Have fun!